folks, this is Amy in the Crafty Cottage. Pardon the disarray. I had a class Thursday last week, or no, it was Tuesday last week. We actually put our puppy dog down on Tuesday, and then I went and taught a class. So I have not been in any mood to come in straight and put things away or do anything, but I decided today I would try to come in and do a card for you. I'm just going to post it up. I'm not going to do it live. But we're going to try something new. I have not kind of done it once, and I'm going to try it again and show you how to do it. I found some of the ways that this card was done was pretty interesting, and I liked some of the techniques, which I'll discuss with you here. It is using some of the new in colors that we got in June this year, and it's using some of the new stamps that will be coming out in January. The Amazing Silhouettes, which is this one. We're going to use these stamps, and we're going to create a very pretty background, and also using some of the old stuff that's in our annual catalog. So I'm going to flip you over, and we'll get started. All right, now you get to see my space. The colors that we're going to work with are, I changed them up. Here's the original card that I did. I think it's very pretty. This one is done in Pale Papaya, Garden Green, Daffodil Delight, and a little Calypso Coral and some Pale Papaya mixed up in there as well. I also have some gold ribbon that you can see. I actually think I'm going to turn on my other light. I think it'll be better for you. You'll be able to see better. So there's the gold ribbon from the Simply Trimmed suite of ribbons, and there's some linen thread, and these sentiments come from our Nature's Harvest bundle and stamp set, and this comes from the Amazing Silhouettes, as to these images behind it, and it's also embossed with some timeless textures. I think it's timeless textures, or worn textures, but it looks really pretty, and you can kind of see that. But I'm going to show you the way she did these with blending brushes. And I found it really cool, some of her techniques. Now, this was done from a lady out of Australia. And I, for the life of me, cannot remember her name at this moment. But I will try to link her in the video. So, this is what we're attempting to do again. So, I'm going to stick that one over here to the side so I don't get it all messed up. Now, today I've got Daffodil Delight, Pear Pizzazz, Fresh Freesia, and Blushing Bride for my ink colors. I also have the Amazing Silhouettes stamps that are coming in the new catalog. I have just the die from Nature's Harvest die set, and it's just the one that's the little stems, and it comes out of the one that matches this set. And the sentiment that we used was the sending healing thoughts, may nature's beauty bring you peace to your soul, which I kind of thought was appropriate because I'm having a hard time with my Monty man. My lovely little Monty, he had a stroke Sunday night, and he didn't get any better. We waited 12 to 14 hours per the vet's request, and then I couldn't watch him do that. That was just mean. He couldn't walk. He didn't want to eat. It was not right. So, but let's move on. I have a piece of cardstock. This one is 1 3/4 by 5, and that's going to be our top piece. And this one is just 1/8 bigger than that. So I believe it's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then I have just a 5 1/4 or 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 piece of Fresh Freesia. And then I just have a scrap piece of the Whisper White cardstock, or basic white cardstock. So, and I have an extra piece of that as well, so we can get our dies out first. So I'm going to start with the dies because they're very simple to do. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to get my Stamparatus out of the way. We will need that Stamparatus. Now I want my die pieces to be green on the bottom. So I'm just going to take my Pear Pizzazz. Now here's the crazy thing. This just blew me away. You know when you're using these and you get those splotches of ink on your pieces of paper and it looks kind of funky, like right here I've got splotches of this Pale Papaya right there. This is a way to get rid of those splotchy pieces. I seem to have trouble when I do that. So what this demonstrator did, she used her blending brushes. I was like, I'm not really great with those. But what she did was she stamped her block, just her plain block, got some ink on her block like this, and then she rubbed her blending brush in it. So it makes it a little lighter and a little more dispersed, I guess. I don't know. But what we're going to do with this is we're just going to come in here and blend this up. And we're going to do this for all our little projects, just to blend this ink in here. Now with the stems on this particular die, I don't want them all to be green, so I'm going to kind of go halfway, maybe a little further up. And I'm going to cut this out twice with this. But I'm just getting my ink off of my block here, which is kind of cool. I was like, well, that works out really well, and it doesn't make it so crazy. And it's really great when you're using your stamps to do it this way, because then it doesn't make your stamps have that heavy center of ink. I mean, doing this part, you could still do this and it wouldn't hurt. But I want to get quite a bit more ink up here. So, and doing this, it just takes a little while to keep going, and, maybe I'll fast forward through this so you don't have to see this part. But we're just going to sit here and do this. And we're going to have that all done just like this. And I'm going to leave it right there. That's all I'm going to put on here because I don't want it to be heavy. I just want it to be soft. So now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to go take this and I'm going to die cut out at least 2 of these. Got to move all my stamps out of the way first though. And I'm using my Stamparatus over here to the side. Because, I don't have this massive table like I would love to have. But that's alright. So we have 1. Now let me cut out 1 more. And that's the only cutting you need to do. You have leftover pieces if you need it. So there we go. We've got our 2 pieces. And if you put them on white, look how nice and green they are on the edges. And I'm kind of make this a springy card. If you want them a little darker, you could come back in here and add some more green at the bottom to make it darker. I don't really think we need to, but I'm going to do it just for aesthetics. Okay, I'm going to put the green away for the moment. And I'm just going to leave it just like that. And we're going to color these, the tips. We're going to do them in the Daffodil Delight. I really love this yellow. It's just, it screams happy to me. Happy, happy, happy. And I need some happy in my life right now because my poor little gumbo is not taking this whole Monty go into heaven very well. It's just not good. I'm actually going to use a tiny blending brush today for this. I'm not even going to do off the block for this one because I'm literally just going to come in here and I'm going to cover these little tips so they're nice and yellow and bright and happy. And I don't care if the color is more on the edges or light. It's okay because that's what you want. Nature is not perfect, and you want it to be a little off. And I like these little ones because then it allows me to be a little more specific where I put the color too. So there we go. We've got this one. So, and again, if you went to put it on a piece of white, then that's what you would have. Now, I could go back in and put a little extra green around some of those edges. And it would look good. I could go in and put some Calypso Coral. I could do lots of things to make this yellow really pop. But I'm not so concerned about making it super popped just yet because I may change my mind later. So I'm going to sit this to the side. I'm going to do the same thing with my other piece because all of my tips need to be yellow. Because they're wheat, right? Isn't that what's bloom? Is that what this is? I think it's wheat. I don't know. Maybe you farming folks up there can tell me what this is supposed to be. I think it's wheat. That's what it looks like to me. It could be a flour. I don't know. Maybe I could ask Stampin' Up! What they intended it to be. So there you go. We've got some more yellow. You can see it there. And I'm going to put both of those away. And I'm going to cover up my yellow for the moment. Oop, after I put it on my shirt. Good thing these are my work shirts. Alright, so we have a yellow brush, we have a green brush, and we have an empty brush. So now I'm going to take my Stamparatus, and I'm going to pull out my smallest piece of cardstock that I have. It's the one that's 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm going to get my Stamparatus. Right here. I like it to open this way. And we're going to put this down. Now, the lady that did this, she had a piece of acetate that she used to actually stamp her image, so she knew where it was going. I'm not going to be that particular because I don't have any acetate with me, but it was a really good idea. I really liked it, and I may do that in the future. But I like to work from the corner over here. So I'm just going to put this down here. And the way she did it was she put it in the corner, and that's where she left it. And she moved her paper so that her paper could be the perfect spot. But she always knew where her, move this out of the way, she always knew where her stamp was going to be. So we're going to use our amazing silhouettes to start. I am going to stamp this guy, this one right here. That's this one. Now, I don't put my stickies on the back. That's just me. And we're going to place this. I want it to go like right here in this kind of corner. And so the other one's going to kind of go over here as well. But I'm going to start here. And I'm going to put it kind of to the corner. And then we'll maneuver our paper around. Now, her idea was to also stamp this on a piece of, which I've got acetate. Let's try it. Let's see. Where's my acetate? Here's my pieces of acetate. Mine is uber clear, and it's big, so let's see what we can do. I use it for window clings. Now, I did 5.5 by 6. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just put this here. And I'm going to take this out. So this is new. I'm trying something. I'm experimenting with you all. Ha ha ha. Okay, let me take this out. And that got me some green ink. Which is okay. It's just going to wipe off. So I'm going to put this down. This is going to be even in my L shape here, the 7 and 7 in the corner. And yes, I know you're going like, I can't see it because it is completely clear. It's acetate. And I'm going to stamp in any color you want. I think I'm going to go with just some black. No, because I'm going to have to clean it then. And I don't want to have to go double, you know. So let's just go ahead and go with the Pear Pizzazz. And I'm just going to stamp. I'm going to color this just like this. And we're going to stamp it. Just like that. Now you're going to have to set this somewhere where it's not going to get wet. And where you're not going to have that ink rub off. That's the thing with a transfer. So now you see, I have this on my transfer, so I know where it's at. Now, I could have used a darker color, which would have been better, so we would know where it was. So now we know where we want this. That's where the stamp is, and we want it right. So the stamp's going to go here, so you know where this goes. So I know now where to put my paper. I want my paper to go like this. I find this more difficult, but, you know, I'm trying. So I kind of want it to go like that. Nope, it would have to be over a little more. There we go. So if this was here, that would put that there. Needs to be over a little more. So if this was here, there we go. That's perfect right there. So now I can pull this out of the way and I can put, and we're off just a hair. There we go. Now let me make sure, making sure this goes here, and yes, that's going to be perfect. Okay, so we're going to leave it just like this. Now here's the fun part. We're going to take and we're going to start with yellow. I know you're going like, oh, she's crazy. She's going with all these colors and she's changing it all up. So I'm going to start with yellow. First off, I've got to clean my stamp because I did put the green on it. But that's okay. I have baby wipes because I bought them for my class. And I also have my chamois. I love my chamois. My chamois is the bomb. And I'm not so worried if I don't get all the green off because the green will be being used at some point. And see, I just took it off. I'm crazy. I took it off to get it all out of the crevices. And now I need to find where it goes back to. I'm such a blonde. Alright, it's okay. We'll be fine. So we're going to put it right there. And what should be just about where this goes. Yep, there we go. That's perfect. So I got it. Put that down. Put this back. Get the yellow off of my hands. Okay. So now this is where it gets tricky. Instead of taking our yellow and going straight down, which would make it uber strong and uber thick, this is what the other lady did. Remember I was saying with those blending brushes? It turns out really nice. Looking for it. Clean one here. Here we go. Here's a nice clean brush. We're going to just stamp our block into it. We get some yellow on our block. And we're going to pull it off with our blending brush. And we're going to rub it on our stamp. So you can see me over here. It's the problem with small spaces. You guys can't really see. And I'm not really focusing on the inside so much as I am the outside. I want the outside to have lots of color. More so than the inside. Because the inside's going to end up being green. And it'll be cool because we can keep adding color this way. Now we're going to stamp it down. Give it a little rub. And hello, hello, hello. And boom, we've got a nice soft color. I want more color on that. So I'm going to pick up a little more ink. And I'm going to pull it off with my brush. And notice it's not very dark over here. So I'm going to try to get some more color there. And some more color over here. And on the top. So just make sure I get where I want more ink. And then I'm going to do the whole press down. Give it a little love. And see how much more we got in color. I don't know if you can see that. Pull it up to you. Got a lot more color there. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and say I'm done with this particular one. For the green. I want you to go ahead and see the green. Now we're going to cover this up and we're going to do the same thing with the green. And because we're going from light to a darker color, we don't have to switch. So I'm going to take my block here. I'm trying to figure out which side had the green on it. They both look clean, so I guess I didn't have any green on this one. So I'm going to get my green, just like this. Get my brush. Did I have a green? Yeah, I do have a green brush. I knew I used green. Here's my green brush. So I'm going to take my ink off the block. And I'm literally just going to kind of go in the middle. Now it's okay that we have yellow on here already. Because, you know, it's a lighter color, right? So I'm just putting my green down. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to smoosh it down. Give it a little love-see. And there you go. It's a little dark. So now that I know it's a little too dark for me, I can come back in and put more yellow. Well, We'll have to wipe off our block, but that's okay. Here's my chamois. Get the chamois out. Don't move it off your block. And I just kind of take my chamois and press it in a little bit so that it gets all of that out of there. But it's okay if it still has a little green. It's not going to hurt it. But I want more yellow in that. I really think the yellow needs to come out some more. So I'm going to take my yellow block. That's not my yellow block. Take my yellow block and my yellow sponge. And I'm going to put more yellow. I'm going to do a little more yellow all the way around. I literally could actually just put my yellow ink right in here. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to use with what we have on our block. And put it on. And then come in here and do this. Doing it this way allows us to have ink as little or as much as we want at any given time. And I still think I need more ink. And it doesn't have your ink go to waste. It also allows you to be in a lot more control of how much ink. Because, you kind of want this to be a little light, too. You don't want it to be super heavy. So that's what I'm going with. A little light. Not super heavy. And it allows you to control where you put that ink. So there's our first one. It's a little mix. And now we're going to do the same thing. But now we're coming back in with our little stamped image here, right? So we've got this. This is where it's at. So now we're going to leave this here. And we're going to move this. So I'm holding it where it's got to be. And I'm going to maneuver this piece of cardstock to where I want it to go. And I kind of want it to be up here, like this. Just like that. And it's okay if it goes over or even a little off. It's fine. And I'm going to move this. And we're going to put our magnet on. And I'm going to double check where it went. And I did have it go down, but it didn't get anything. And I'm just not crazy about these magnets. I know I can put things on it to make it work. I have not done it. I'm going to have to move this because, this is where it goes. Okay. And we're going to have it go like this. And boom. It's going to be a little off, I think. That's okay. Okay, there we go. I'm going to leave it just like this. Scoop this over so that we're good. Okay. Now we've got just yellow on there. So I'm going to get some more yellow ink. And we're going to go back with just the yellow. This is the most tedious part. And again, because it's so tedious, I'm not sure that I'm crazy about this. But it's a different technique. And for some things, I think it would be really cool. Especially when you're layering colors on one stamp. Okay. And then we've got this. We're going to squish this down. And there we've got our yellow. You could add more yellow. I'm going to go ahead and put a little green on it now. And I'm going to be soft on the green this time. Just going to be really soft. So we get very light green. Because, it is kind of a soft color. And there we go. It doesn't have much green on it. I'm going to go ahead and put a little more green because I don't really like that. I think it needs a little more. And I am going to try to focus in the middle. I don't think it got very much green on it. There we go. Much better. Could use some more yellow. I'm going to come back in here and I'm actually just going to stamp my ink pad. I want bright yellow. But I'm not going to put it on for very long. There we go. Done. Now we have our two colors on. Not sure I like my color combination, but there you have that. Now I'm going to put this in just here in the corner because I like the edges to use on my Stamparatus. And we're going to get rid of our stamp here. And we're going to come back in with the butterfly stamp. And I want my butterfly stamp to be like right here. Okay? We don't need the yellow and the green. You could use yellow and green, but I'm going to go with some other colors. And I'm going to use a touch of yellow when I color the whole thing out. But I need to put my butterfly in. And I chose pink and purple for my butterfly. These two colors. This is Blushing Bride and Fresh Freesia. And I'm going to do the same things. We're going to use blending brushes. And let's see. I'm going to do the pink on the inside. So we'll start with that one. Start with the purple first. No, you should start with the lighter colors. So we're going to do pink. And we're going to do a block again as well. I'm going to get these two blocks out of my way because I'm done with these colors for the moment. And I don't want green all over me. So I'm going to take a smaller block. And I've got some pink on it. And I'm going to color my entire butterfly with the pink. And of course it'll be really light. It'll be the purple that will show up the most. And we're going to just stamp it down and see what we get. See, it's very light, very soft. I'm going to put some more pink because I need it to brighten up over here on the back side, which is over here. So I'm going to put some more color there because the other side's good. Just want some more pink over here. And that's right there. There we go. We've got some more pink. It looks good. I don't know if you can see it all that well. There we go. Now I'm going to take my purple. And I'm going to use a little one for this as well. Because I don't need a lot of purple. And I need it to be focused as to where it goes. And I'm trying to see if I use this one. Did not. So I'm going to use the same thing. Block, a little purple on my brush here, block, and purple. There we go. And I'm going to put the purple in the corners. And I know you can't really see where I'm putting it. I'm putting it here on these corners, on these edges. And you can add as much purple as you want. And this is the Fresh Freesia. But I really don't want a lot to be all the way around it. I want that pink to still stand out. So we're going to try that and see how that does. So let's stamp it. See what we get. Oh, and wow. Doesn't that look pretty? It's a little bit of purple, a little bit of pink. Looks fantastic. I'm not going to do anything else to that. I'm going to leave it be. And now we're going to move all of this out of our way. But before we do that, actually I'm thinking, I stamped it on the wrong paper. But that's okay. We're going to go with this. I'm going to go trim this down to the size it should be. I messed up and I used the wrong piece of paper. So I have this down to the size it's supposed to be. Now I'm going to use this piece. I'm going to put it right here. It should, there we go. We're going to actually stamp this again with the pink. And the only reason we need to do this is so we can actually cut out the butterfly later. So I'm just going to ink up my butterfly in purple. I'm not looking for it to be pretty or perfect because I'm going to cut it out. And I just want the solid color when I cut it out. So there we go. We have our solid image. It's perfect. So we have that to cut out later. Now let's put this together and move things out of the way. Move all of these inked blending brushes. The thing I miss is not having a way to clean my brushes while I'm in here. And I'm going to put a piece of white down so we can see what we're doing. This will cut out. This we're keeping. Now, remember, we did these pieces, right? So we need to put these on. And what we're going to do with these is we're just going to literally pop them up. And we're going to cut them apart. Figure out which one you want, where you want it. I think I'm going to go with this one here. And we're going to glue it down with just a little bit of glue. Nothing fancy. If I can get the glue to come in. There we go. Now you could cut this out in with the adhesive strips behind it, so it would be a lot easier. But I never think about it until it's too late. So I'm going to put this one down just like this. Like that. And then I'm going to figure out with my scissors and trim these apart. So we get separate little stems. And I'm going to put some over here. So we're just going to trim these up. I hope everyone's doing well. And I'm going to actually do this one a little higher up. There we go. Now with these, we're just going to trim them off. I know, crazy, huh? Now with these extra little pieces, to give it some green, we're going to add these in here. I'm going to add this one here. Add one over here. And you just kind of want to fill this in. So you have a nice little garden look. And I honestly think this will have one more. And have this one come up through here like this. Just a little, might trim this little piece out. There we go. And we'll put this one up like this. There we go. All right, I have plenty. Now we have all of those on there. They're glued down. Now I'm going to run it through the embossing folder. And I'm using this one. It is the textured words and worn words and all of that. I'm going to put it in just like this. And you make sure you have it on that line so that it's even. And we're just going to run it through the embossing machine. As long as I can keep all my stuff together. Now I'm going to get it out, hoping that everything stays attached. There we go. Now you see it's all nicely embossed. Now we're going to add some more color with our inks that's on those blending brushes. Let's get our blending brushes back. We're going to add a little green down here in the bottom. So I'm literally just going to come up here. I'm not adding any more ink to this because I don't want it to be too super bold. And I don't want it to cover my white in here in these little images. I just want to add some color. There we go. And I'm going to do the same with my yellow so we can get some yellow and hues in there. And the yellow is going to go all around everything. It's going to go up to the top. And we're not putting any in the butterfly. Just going to go around the edges. And then I'm going to come in with that pink. And the pink is on this brush, right? Yeah. So we're going to come in with this pink as well to give us a nice pink hue. And again, you got to remember, I'm not adding any extra colors. I mean, you could do these colors before you lay all of this stuff down, but I think that looks nice. There you go. Now to get this to stay nice and white, you could leave it like this, but I found the 3D effect much better. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to fussy cut out just the white part of this butterfly. I don't generally like fussy cutting, but it does work really well for this particular card. Yeah, and we want just the white. Now here I am cutting all around the other side. I don't need that. I just need the white. I want absolutely no color on this piece. So once I cut it out, if I have any color that I've missed, I will cut all of that out as well. And I'm almost done. And it's so tedious to cut out. I'm not a fan of fussy cutting at all. There we go. Now I have it all cut out. I'm actually going to round. Let's see how this looks. I'm going to kind of round this off. There we go. So it's going to lay right here. I'm going to have it like that. But see, I have some color on these wings. So I need to come get these colors, get this color out. Almost there. Getting this color out. I don't want any color in it. There. That should be good. I think I have just a little bit right here. Right by the head. There we go. So now it will look like our butterfly is flying and taking flight. Now what I did with the butterfly is I actually added some Wink of Stella. Some clear, because it is on white. I actually have a white Wink of Stella, but we'll just use the clear so it doesn't, there we go. And I make sure I run first. That way I don't have blotches of Wink of Stella everywhere. And I'm just kind of putting it on its wings. There we go. And I'm going to put this, there's not going to be any dimensionals. I'm going to bend it a little bit so the body can be glued down. There we go, a little too much glue. And we're just going to glue it right onto the body spot. There we go. So now we look like we have a taking flight butterfly. Now all you have to do is take your green piece of paper that you have cut out, which I've done in the Pear Pizzazz to match my green. We're going to put it on like this. Just like that. There we go. And it's still a little sticky because I went quickly, but that's okay. It will dry out. And if you keep it and it stays a little sticky and becomes tacky, what you can do is take your dust buddy or your embossing buddy and you can run that over it. It will help control the sticky. And then I am just putting it on top of a piece of fresh freesia so it pops it right back out. And there's the base of the card. Where's the original? Oh, I put the original somewhere so it didn't get all messed up. I love having small spaces and putting things and I never find it. So here's the card. Now we just need a sentiment that goes across. I'm not putting one on it right now because I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for. I did use in the original card, I used the sentiment here from the Nature's Harvest, and then I used the die cut that went from the Nature's Harvest, which is here. Before I stamped and such, I colored it with some of the greens and the purples and the pinks. So I used all the colors from my brushes and put them on there. And I could still do that. Let's go ahead and do it. It'll be easier for you to see. So I'm going to use, I need the die to see how big we need it to be. Actually, I'm not sure that that's the sentiment. I'm gonna use some new stuff. We've got this. Thanks for brightening up my day. Happy birthday. I don't know, just someone who's wonderful each and every day. Thinking of you. Couldn't wait for a special occasion. It's okay to feel the feels. Where would I be without a friend like you? Just a card to say you're amazing, or with sympathy. Hang in there. Let's see, will this fit in here? No, that won't fit in there. The happy birthday will. I think I'm just going to do one. I don't really care if it's the right size. I'm going to go with just birthday because I don't have many birthday cards, so I've got this one, and I'm going to need a mat to stamp on. Okay. Before I do that, we're going to color our paper. So I'm taking this scrap, and I'm just going to put a little green in it. I'm going to put a little pink in it. I'm going to put a little yellow in it. And I'm going to put a little purple in it. And I know you really can't see those colors. We could add more to it. I'm going to add some more of this pink to it. And once you get your sentiment stamped, you can add more or less, whichever makes you happy. So now I'm going to put my pad underneath here so I can stamp my sentiment. And I'm just using basic black. And I'm going to make a birthday card. And I'm going to go down here. Just put some happy birthday. There we go. I do want some more color to it because I'm not sure I would like all of that. It's actually yellowish, but I want some pinks and some purples. Where's my purple? Here's my purple. Add some of this purple to this. There we go. Now we're just going to cut it out. You could use the die cut, which I'm not sure that this would work. This would work for Happy Birthday. Nope, not quite. It's still a little too narrow. So I'm just going to cut this out with my trimmer. I have my little tiny one that we got as demonstrators. Let's see, how big do I want this to be? Maybe an inch. Let's see, that's 1 inch. It's not a very straight inch. So let's go 1 1/4. Trying to make Happy Birthday straight. You know? There we go. And now we'll leave it at still not quite right, but no, it takes away. Too much, too much, too much, too much, too much. I'm just cutting it with my hands. I don't like this trimmer. I don't usually use it because you can't see very well what it's doing. And then I'm going to use my punch. My punch, my punch, my punch. I love my punches. And we'll give it some wings. On the, oop, that's the wrong one. Oops, 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 oops. Not having a good time with this. There we go. Now we've just got some Happy Birthday. Use some dimensionals. And you could put a bow on this. I might actually put some of the Fresh Freesia ribbon on it instead of the little tiny bows. And you would put this on a card base. And there you go. Card is done. Isn't it pretty? I hope you all had a good time watching me struggle and go through a craziness. Because, you know, I actually had no idea what I was doing. Kind of, but not really. Some of the techniques is nice. And it comes out really pretty. So, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'll see you next time. Bye!